I told you, the batteries are charged and the sound is perfect.
It's not perfect. Look at this mess. We can't film like this.
Oh, stop being difficult.
As a chef, I've been cooking and teaching globally, but now my focus is 100% on you, the incredible caregiver. You don't have time for complicated recipes? I'm taking all my world-class knowledge and turning it into fast, easy, nourishing meals that fit your busy schedule. We're cutting the stress, boosting the flavor. Let's cook something amazing right now. Hey, let's do a fast, quick 20-minute meal. We're gonna start from start to end. We're gonna go ahead and go grocery shopping right now. We've got some stuff we need to pick up. You're going to see the list come up right here. And we're gonna get going. So let's go ahead and get it going.
I already told you, Whiskers, we are not buying the sugary cereal today. It's unhealthy. Put it back now.
All right, we're back. We have got a couple of things that we're gonna get going first. So we've got a 20-minute meal that's set up that we're gonna have to get going. We've got a busy house coming on. We've got a lot of things that are getting ready to happen. So let's go ahead and get started on what we have. We've got some red onions, kind of left over. Picked up some pretty bell peppers that are right now. We went on ahead and got some tomatoes because they're getting ready. Oh, they're getting ready to go a little bit. So we want to get those used up and put into here. So you can see that we've got some items that are left over. This is just going to be something that you have a series of vegetables that you like, and that we'll be able to utilize. Some frozen, some fresh, what you like, what you don't like. We're going to kind of talk through techniques on sauteing more than we're going to talk about actually what we're doing with it. And then I got a really great lemon juice that I found. I'm not a big fan of the plastic lemons. You know what I'm talking about? The ones that are on every shelf. They look like a little lemon. They have the green top on them. Don't use those. Take the lemon juice, they dehydrate it down. Talk about from concentrate, then they bring it back up, they filter it, they put stabilizers in there. This is something that's just a little bit better. It's actually a lemon made out of Italy and imported in the United States, but they're about the same price. They do contain the essential oils that hold some of the vitamin content, so it's a pretty good thing to have around. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on what we need to get done here. And this is gonna be a pretty quick meal. So we're just going to get going. Also picked up some granulated garlic. Our chopped parsley that we always have around. What else can we throw in here? I think that's pretty good. So then we're going to need to go ahead, get a couple of bowls for all of our little bit of mise en place going on in here. Mise en place is everything in its place. It's a French term. Have those a lot in the cooking industry. So we're going to start off right off the bat, cutting up some of our vegetables first, because we don't want to put the meat on here and then put the vegetables on. So we're going to take and clean this up real quick. Remember, we've got knife skills, so we need to watch out how we hold our hand as we're cutting this up. It's pretty easy. It's getting busier around here. The dogs and cats are showing up. They know cooking is about to happen. Again, these are vegetables that you want to have around. If you don't have them around, I like to keep peppers and onions around just because we like it. Now, if you have an aversion, you don't like it, you don't like the way it feels when you digest, things like that, obviously we can switch that around and keep the vegetables around that you want to keep. So again, we have a preference for this. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to have it. Again, we're going to talk about techniques and what we're going to do and how we're going to use it. And then we can go from there. You're going to see that we've got a little bit of knife work to do ahead of time. Again, not a problem. Just be very quick if you have time to get it done ahead of time, or when you get it in, you want to break these down before you actually get started and just have this all ready to go, or you can even buy it already done. Sometimes though those have been used, they have treated those a little bit with some form of a chemical, to keep them preserved. So again, just something to kind of watch out for and make sure that you aren't getting any unwanted chemicals. And if you have a desire to keep your food a little cleaner and have more control over what's in it, this is the way to do it. Now I've grabbed a red onion. We don't need as much red onion. We're not big on having a lot of red onions in our food, only because of it has sometimes caused some stomach and digestive issues. I like red onions. They're a little sweeter when you cook them up, and they're not quite so strong in the flavor of the onion when you use them. So just something to keep an eye on. So here we have our favorite little kitty is here. We're going to stack this just right on top, but you'll see how we're going to use this in a minute. This is just kind of all of our vegetables, and we've kind of stacked it in a way that we're going to use it later. We got some nice mushrooms. We're going to use those as well. Put the onions back in the fridge. Always, always, always keep your onions in the fridge. It will help out when you start to cut. If they're kept colder, if they're warm or room temperature, the little cellular parts that make up the onion can explode, and that's what causes people's eyes to water. But if you keep it in the fridge, it's not quite so bad. Open up our garlic, and now take and clean this off one more time. I'm gonna go rinse this off over here real quick. I'm gonna grab some gloves, because we're getting ready to touch chicken. And you'll notice the last thing that's going to touch this cutting board is the chicken. And then we're going to go ahead and get it in the wash. Now the reason we are breaking this chicken down like this is because we're wanting something that's going to be speed of cooking. So we're going to take and cut these a little smaller, only for the fact that they'll cook a lot faster. So I'm going to take this off here, kind of get nice even big cuts and get those going. And take and throw this into our little pan. And that's it. That's all the knife work we have to do for now. We're going to do a little bit more with some tomatoes later, but not right now. Next thing we're going to grab, we'll get rid of these. Next we're going to grab, we've got a little bit of garlic powder, a little bit of oregano, a little bit of paprika, a little bit of salt and pepper. So we've got our little herbs ingredients. Again, nothing fancy. Take and just put just a little bit of salt in there. A little more pepper than we think we might need. Lots of oregano. Lots of oregano. Now, garlic powder versus garlic salt. I like garlic powder over garlic salt because you can control how much garlic you want in there versus how much you salt, and it just allows you a little bit more control. If you want to use garlic salt, that's fine. Just remember that over about 6 months' time that the garlic flavor kind of gets cut in half. So just something to remember. So we're going to put just a little bit of garlic powder in there, set that aside, and then finally I found some paprika today that I kind of like. When in doubt, grab a knife. And we don't need a lot. Paprika's kind of got a bit of a kind of a neutral flavor. There's a little flavor there. If you like chicken paprikash and some of those other dishes, you'll kind of see what that is. You'll see that flavor be a little bit more predominant. But for what we're doing, we're kind of using it for color and just a little bit of a flavor profile. So grab one of our spoons and take just a little bit of garlic in there, some fresh garlic. Different flavor than the powdered garlic, and you're going to kind of see that when you get ready to eat. We're going to take some of this lemon juice that we got. I love this stuff. This stuff is great. And we're going to squeeze a fair amount in there, okay? And then finally, we got a little bit of some sunflower oil. Again, you're going to see this. I want you to kind of see this. It's not that much. We're just pouring just a little bit to kind of lubricate it. Then we're going to set that aside. Pull this over here. Put some of those other food items over there. And we're going to turn our oven on. We're not going to go to full high hot heat. About medium heat is kind of what we're looking for. And then we're going to take some tongs that we've got ready to go. Give this a nice good stir. When you're looking at this, you kind of want to see that it's got a nice little even coating on it of everything. So for this, I would almost think we want just a little bit more oregano. I like dry oregano, I like fresh oregano, just kind of depends. For something like this that we're going to saute on, we kind of want to keep it dry. Dry herbs kind of are a little bit more comfortable in taking the heat, as it were. So we're going to set this up, get it warmed up, then we'll dial it back down. While we're waiting on this, a couple of things that we want to talk about while we're going to be sauteing, and some tricks and techniques that I want you to watch. We're going to be showing on the bottom of the pan how we can kind of work with and create flavor without adding anything into the dish. So on a pan, we're going to kind of let some stuff stick to the bottom and create a little bit of some browning and flavor on the bottom. We'll kind of walk through that. We're going to also take some of the lemon juice a little later and evaporate it in there to kind of give it a little bit of a stronger flavor. That's why I like this brand. It does have some of the lemon oil in the lemon juice as well, and I'm kind of a big fan of getting as much of that lemon flavor. We're adding flavor, but we're not adding calories. So when this flavor comes and hits your mouth, this lemon, pepper, garlic flavor, it's going to kind of punch, but there's really not a lot of negative effects behind it. It's just going to be a fun, full flavored thing to eat and enjoy. So just something to kind of think about. We got our pan getting there in heat. Now, when we spray our spray in here, we're not sitting there like we're spray painting a sign or something like that. We're just kind of lubricating the pan a little bit. That's what we want to hear. This will bring the dogs and the cats back as soon as they start to smell this. When we got a busy day ahead of us, or we've had a busy day and there's a lot of stuff that we need to get still done, this is one of those dishes that you can just kind of pull out very quickly, have ready to go. And we're going to cook in stages here because we're going to keep adding flavor. So we're putting the chicken in here right now, and we're going to get that flavor going up with the chicken. And as it's browning on one side, we're going to leave the chicken on one side and let it brown pretty thoroughly and get that good color in there. Then we're going to come back and we're going to throw our vegetables in there. We're going to throw a few other things in there and kind of create and build flavor up. So we're adding layers of flavor as we go through. And one of the flavors that we are going to use and add coming up here is we're going to add a little bit of some chicken broth. And there's a lot of folks that kind of think that the salt of the chicken broth or the salt of the flavors, it's not a good thing. Just be aware of what you're going to buy and what you're going to have. My wife makes an amazing matzo ball soup, and she uses a very specific kind of chicken consommé and a chicken consommé flavoring. So this is kind of something we can look at.
I told you we should have checked the batteries before we started taping.
I told you so.
Okay, looks like we got that back. You can see that we kind of ground this off a little bit. Got the good color that we want, so we're going to take these out. We just cooked them on one side. You can see they steamed up a little bit. We're going to show you how we're going to finish these in a minute. Again, we see all this in the bottom of the pan, and we're thinking, this is not looking. This is actually kind of what we want to see. This is all still flavor in here. So what we're going to do, we're going to put just a little bit more oil in here. Okay. We're going to take some of these onions that we have here, add those in there, and we got a pepper in there. That's not a big deal. I'm going to take and push these around on the skillet a little bit. We're going to take some of these mushrooms that we've got. Bought these pre-sliced. These were on sale. I'd slice them myself, but they were actually on sale. So I thought, why not? Don't be afraid to let your mushrooms sit in the pan for a little while. It's kind of tough to burn a mushroom. You can. I have taken that challenge and have burned my fair share of mushrooms in my career, but it's not something that is easily done. We're using the mushrooms separate from the peppers because the mushrooms are going to take a little longer. The peppers are going to cook fairly quickly, and we kind of want those to look nice and vibrant in color, especially when we go to make our sauce here in a little bit. I'm going to deglaze with a little more water. The water is then going to cause, which the mushrooms are majority of a mushroom is water. So that water is going to sit there and it's going to kind of help steam it out, which is what we want. Smells coming up pretty good. Kind of like the way that we're getting this. You can see that the paprika is now starting to cause a little bit of red. When that paprika cooked on the bottom of the skillet, kind of charred it up or gave it a little bit of a darker roasted color. This is kind of what we're looking for. Also, that is going to come off the bottom when you take the heat away. That's just the protein that has kind of seared itself to the skillet. And so when we kind of put the water in here and start to work to scrape some of this off, it's going to come off. Don't be afraid of this. This is not going to harm your flavor of your food in any way. So just kind of keep pulling that off, keep scraping that off, get that bottom of the pan clean. And if a little bit sticks on the bottom, again, not a huge problem. We're going to wait until this kind of cooks off a little bit more. You see we're constantly bringing our temp up and down on what we want to do with it. There is no one set temp. Now, when I worked in many restaurants, we would have this on high and get going, but that was only because we were on a time crunch. We had everything prepped, ready to go. The recipes were built for high heat, high speed. On something like this, we're taking it home. Again, we're only about 10, 15 minutes into this process. So we're not in a real hurry to kind of get this, and we're going to finish this up fairly quickly. So, got that pretty look here. Now, we can go ahead and add a little bit more lemon juice because we want that lemon flavor to come up. All in all, we're about, I don't know, 2-3 tablespoons of lemon juice between the whole process. Gonna let that cook down. Lemon smells coming up, it's nice. down like so. Get that out of our way. We have a little surprise for you coming. This is going to be kind of fun here in a minute. We're going to add some of this stock to it. Don't worry if it doesn't completely dissolve. It will once it gets hot. Put that in there. We're going to put these peppers and onion, or these peppers across the top. They're going to steam up a little bit, which is kind of what we want. You already kind of hear it going. This is where we're going to take and start to slice up some of our tomatoes for the final. So we're just going to take these tomatoes, cut them in half, so that they open up, seeds release just a little bit. Not a lot, maybe, I don't know, 10 of them. I don't know if you can hear this or not cooking, but wow, does it sound and smell amazing. I love when you hear this kind of skillet going. Oh, wrong size. Huh. I don't have big enough to cover this. That's all right though. Okay. Now, are you ready for the surprise? I went out and bought some cheese tortellini. So there is enough liquid in here. You can see that tortellinis don't require a long time, but they do require a little bit. And since we're already using this in here, we're just going to throw some tortellinis in there. Not a lot, just enough to kind of mix it up. Get those tortellinis all submerged into that liquid. My wife is texting me, telling me she's on her way home, so we'll have dinner ready for her when she gets home. I'm going to turn that temp down just a little bit. We're going to take our other skillet, put it over the top, let that steam for a minute. While we're waiting, we can start to get our stuff ready and get it out. This is where, again, we can take our loved one or our client, start to have them help us get ready. There's some garnish here that we're going to be able to put on there here in a little bit. Time to start setting the table. But again, we're at 15 minutes now, so we're doing pretty good on time. Turn the heat down a little bit more. Chopped parsley, remember, we always keep chopped parsley around. The cheater's garnish. If we got too much water or too little water, we can take and leave this off and let the water evaporate off. Or if we need to have a little bit more put in there, that's fine. The other thing that's going to happen is that the starches that are in the tortellini they're going to give off a little bit of the starch is going to come off of the tortellini and incorporate it in the sauce, and it's going to thicken it up just a little bit more and kind of give it a bit more of a thicker sort of texture or mouthfeel. But when we're done here at the end, we're also going to take and throw just a little bit of butter in there to richen that sauce up and have just a more enjoyable flavor in there. Maybe a little bit more black pepper too. We're going to taste as we go along. Matter of fact, this ought to be a good time to taste right now. Oh yeah, good lemony pepper, onion, even a little bit of the mushrooms coming through. It's going to be a good dish. Now, how do you tell if your tortellinis are done? It's a very complicated process, so please pay very close attention on something like this. We're going to take the tortellini, something that looks like it's mostly done or almost done, and we're going to taste it. Close. Now, fire this up to high one more time. Gonna add our tomatoes. Add our chopped parsley. Wow, doesn't that look pretty? Let's zoom in on that one. How pretty is that, huh? Should probably use a little bit more pepper. For the finale, we're going to throw just about a tablespoon of butter in there. Not a lot. Get it down in there. Start to mix it. The other thing is that the butter is going to kind of bond a little bit with the starch flour that's in there, so it's going to help thicken it up that way as well. See, it's starting to reduce down. You can tell when the reduction is starting to get where the bubbles are a little bit more expressive. They also tend to be a little bit smaller. You can also see that the tortellini is kind of expanded in size here. And so this is telling us we're getting close to being done. And we're kind of looking here in the middle. We can pull this back, see what's in there. See how it's thickening up? We can kind of see inside the sauce right there. I think we're good. Turn that over. Let that sit for a second. And then we're going to plate up. Oven is off, just kind of letting the residual heat finish it up. Oh, we're at 15 minutes on the cooking process, so we may be a little longer than 20, but not much. Okay, Now let's go ahead and get some plating done here. Just gonna lift some of that into there like that. This is also great if you've got some nice crusty bread to go with it. Certainly is worth working and taking the time to kind of get everything the way you kind of want it. See that broth that's coming through? Oh, so good looking. Let's set that off to the side. And then if we want, finally, we can take, if we're feeling really adventuresome and want to do something kind of fun and creative with it, we can take got some nice Parmesan Reggiano cheese. Taking great grate that over the top. And then we have this beautiful dish. I happen to have some brioche over here. Just some bread we had laying around. And now we're ready to give this a try. The lemon, the pepper, the cheese, the onions, a little hot. This is my favorite part. A little bit of bread. That's it. That is the dish. I guarantee you this will be a crowd pleaser. If it's not, call me. I'll refund your money. Wow, that's great. All right, guys, thanks. Just a quick meal on a quick night. And let me know what you think. Please make some comments. Bye.